definitely a rather strange time to be doing this, but I'm making myself some chai latte, and I said that I would show you guys how I'm doing it at the moment, so this is my opportunity. I have made myself a dry spice powder, and I'll put up on the screen what is in the spice powder, because frankly I don't quite remember. I need to do more of it because I'm basically making big batches, and then I just use 2 teaspoons of it. This is 3/4 cup of water, and if I use 2 teaspoons of this, yeah, clearly I probably don't even have enough left for another full batch. And then I also add sugar. The sugar is not in there. I find like a rounded teaspoon is about right for me of regular granulated sugar. And then I'm going to bring this to a boil. So this is my chai concentrate, and once it comes to a boil, you just turn it down to a simmer for 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, you turn the heat down to very low and add a couple of tea bags. So the whole point is meant to be quite concentrated because all the milk really just dampens down the flavor. So in the meantime, I'm going to be preparing the latte bit, the frothy milk bit. This is the Hotel Chocolat Velvetizer, which I got from a recommendation from my friend Chloe, and I've never used Hotel Chocolat hot chocolate packets for this because frankly they're just way too expensive. I've used various other instant hot chocolates and it does work quite well for that, but it is fantastic for frothing milk, which is what I want to do. So I'm basically just going to fill it up to the max line. This has one of those little frothery bits in there, and you put whatever you're putting in there cold, and it will heat it and froth it up, and it will tell you when it's done. It actually works really well. And then I'll show you at the end it self-cleans as well. So you might have noticed I set up this funny little station because we're defrosting the freezer. The fridge needs to be off and you shouldn't be opening it. And so I basically just filled a Pyrex jug with some milk, and I put it on a little ice pack, cold pack, because it's all coming out of the freezer anyway. And I just had a shower. This has not been here for long, so don't worry. But it's just enough that I can make myself my little latte, and my husband can make himself a cup of tea, and hopefully that will get us through the time until we can actually use our fridge and freezer again. You want to remove the tea bags, trying to get as much of the tea out as possible. You're then going to strain your concentrate into your milk. Could have used a bigger strainer. And then in here I've got my nice frothy milk that I just pour over the top. And then to clean this, I just rinse it and put some cold water and dishwashing liquid in it, turn it on, and it cleans, and you just rinse it out. I also have a little cinnamon shaker. I got this from IKEA. I find these really handy so that you can just make a little whatever size shaker you want. I feel like a lot of times these days, certainly in like the supermarkets in the UK, a lot of the spices don't actually come with little holes anymore in the top. And there we are, chai latte. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. I feel like I found my chai latte recipe, so I can cross off my 25 for 2025. My plan for right now is I'm gonna hang out with my husband, have my chai, and we're gonna play some video games. I got this fanciful idea that it would be fun to play all of the Mario Snow World levels because they're very Christmassy. There's a lot of like little jingle bells in the background and things like that. So we own so many Mario games, and we're gonna just like work through and figure out which ones are gonna be the snowy levels and play like old save files so that we can access them. Some of them might not be as easy, but basically just gonna have a little play with that this morning and hang out because I'm gonna be going out this afternoon, so I wanna make sure that we get some good quality time together this morning. Well, now I know what I'm doing. So I've practiced with this. There's a ridiculous. I like my little footprints are still there. It's fun. Mario, don't be like that, bro. They make it really close. Yeah. Hachi and Machi. My husband and I had so much fun playing the icy levels in Super Mario Galaxy That is such a fun game. It really is. It's more fun than you remember. Well, more fun than we remember. And it's really funny when you play a game that you haven't played for literally years and you used to be really good at it and you used to know the whole game, like the back of your hand. And then when you go to play again, it's like confusing and you can't remember what's going on. You're trying to figure out the controls, but it's funny how much of it just really comes back like really quickly. Muscle memory, just instinctively, like, yeah, I know I gotta shake to do this. And anyway, a ton of fun. I'm really glad that I came up with that silly little idea of video game play over December, and I'm looking forward to doing more of it. So it is another rainy day. You guys who are not aware might understand now why I'm very happy to have my new waterproof bag, because it's very useful. So I have a fun adventure right now. I have 2 stops that I'm making. The first one is Somi Sunshine. So I ordered some things in the Sorry, that is going to be super annoying and I apologize, but it is what it is. But yeah, I ordered some things in the Black Friday sale at Somi Sunshine, and rather than paying for the delivery charge, I said I would come and collect it, because there's also some fabrics that Harriet's been putting up recently that I feel like I want to check out in person and see and feel. And I actually only live like 35 minutes drive from Somi Sunshine, which is really not bad at all. So I'm gonna head on over there first. I don't know if I'll be able to film inside. I'll ask if it's okay. Really, it depends. I just assume that people don't want me to film them, but I ask permission if people want me to. And it may be that they're still really busy from the Black Friday sale, packing orders, which I truly hope. Honestly, I hope they did well. I really like that shop. There might be some people in there who just don't like being filmed, which I would obviously completely respect. So we will see. Either way, I'm definitely going to have a good haul of some fabric that I can show you guys. I also got some other fabric from Somi Sunshine recently, and some other Black Friday stuff have arrived. So I've got some goodies when I get back home. And now I get to go and look at and touch some fabric. So it's a good day.
Okay, ready?
Go. It's gonna be a straight line.
It's going to be a very straight line.
Love it,
There
love
you
it.
go.
Thank you. All right, I got a big old Santa sack of fabric. I love Harriet so much. She's just such a sweet and genuine person. Her shop, you can go in and shop in person on Tuesdays and Thursdays, she was telling me. But other days, if you just organize in advance, I message on Instagram, she gets back really quickly. She's generally happy for you guys to come as long as she knows you're coming. But I'm very happy with what I got. I had a couple of extras that I was hoping to find, and I found them, and I feel really happy. And I'm glad I got to take you guys around. That was a super nice little bonus drop-off. I had been messaging with Rachel from the French Seams about the fabric that I got from the Fabric Godmother gift box that I didn't love and she loved, and I basically decided it needed to be hers. And I was going to post it to her in Ireland, but she told me that actually she's going to be coming to London to visit her sister and I could actually just drop it off with her. So I just dropped it off with her brother-in-law. So that was wonderful, and I hope Rachel loves her gift. I added a couple of little extras that I didn't want to show you guys because she might be watching the video, but I'm really happy that I was able to get that fabric to someone who I think is going to truly love it. We've been out for an evening wander because I'm trying a new soup today to use up the rest of our turkey. Usually we make a really good chicken or turkey and lentil soup that we love, but we actually made that in November, so I want to try something different. And I thought, when you're having nice homemade soup, what is better than fresh bread? But I don't have time to be doing that. So we just went to the bakery and picked up a loaf. It's called the potato and rosemary sourdough from Gail's Bakery. It should be good, hopefully. So I'll get home, make some soup, and get cozy. I've got the dinner on. The soup is smelling really, really good, so I'm feeling optimistic about it. I will let you guys know thumbs up or thumbs down at the end of today. I will say those whoopie pies that I made yesterday were truly, truly dreamy. Both my husband and I were just loving them. So I'm very excited to be able to share them with the family. I did have to defrost the freezer today because looking at the amount of space I had and thinking about the amount of Christmas cookies I was going to want to be freezing, it was just not going to happen. So it was a pretty good portion of the day that we were getting that going, and I missed the critical moment. It was just as I was coming home from So Me Sunshine that everything just kind of crumbled and my husband had an avalanche of ice to deal with and get rid of. But I'm very happy to have a nice open spacious freezer, so that was definitely worth doing. I want to go ahead and do my Fabric Godmother Advent. So we are day 5 today, so I'm going to start with the phone, see what it tells me. Looked for gift number 5. Hint, it's in a red velvet bag. Once you've opened your gift, click the button below. I love that they're telling you a hint, like in case you can't find it. I think I'll be able to find it, but let's have a look. Oh, it's right on top there. There we go. And number 5. Do you like this little pouch? I think it's very reusable. Aha. The extra notions, Harriet called it. When I was at So Me Sunshine, oh shoot, I should have given this one to Rachel. Too late now, what can you do? But yeah, when I was at So Me Sunshine, I was chatting to Harriet about this box because she doesn't have one, but she's like seen it online. And we were talking about the buttons because I am not going to be using that fabric, and I was worried that the buttons would be like really matchy with the green and I wasn't going to have a use for them. And so we were zooming in on the picture from the pattern and realized that actually they're quite a neutral button. There we go. They will go with many things, including some fabric that I picked up that I'm hopefully going to use for this blouse, which I will show you. But yeah, let's see what they tell us here. We love these iridescent buttons with hints of pink and green. We think they will beautifully adorn your carnation blouse. You also have a reel of matching thread for your champagne chic fabric. If you didn't finish cutting out your blouse yesterday, you can finish today so you are ready for the next step. So I guess it does have, I don't know. Maybe it's the light that it's not as obviously pink and green. Maybe some of them are a little bit more, maybe that one. I don't know. It's subtle, which is fine. And I think that does make it a little bit more versatile. But yeah, Harriet was thinking about what's going to be in this box because obviously things are meant to go as a project. She's like, it's going to be buttons, isn't it? And then it's going to be thread a different day. So I'm glad that I got the buttons and threads together because honestly, if I just got this thread that I don't have fabric for, that would have been a bit of a disappointment. But yeah, wish in a way I'd opened this morning because then I could have given this to Rachel, but what can you do? So yeah, as far as bits and pieces to catch you up with, I have managed to get a little bit more knitting done on my stripe pipe sweater. I've actually finished the blue now. So I've gotten to the point where I'm doing my final like beige section, and then I'm going to be doing the ribbing. And then I'm going to try it on when I've gotten to the point where it's supposed to be finished and just see how long the sleeves seam and gauge whether or not I think I want to do a bit of a longer ribbing, because there's no problem in doing it a bit longer apart from the fact that it's a bit of a faff, but it might be worth it. So something to think about. I want to show you some things that I've got from Black Friday. So I've got some Sew Me Sunshine fabric, and then I also have some block prints which go with something I got from Sew Me Sunshine. So I have Christmas colors. I've got a green, a red, and a gold. And if you look at the colors, they are very much, to me, very Christmassy. So I have plans for some block printing. Maybe I'll start with that. I want to say this fabric is not as crazy huge as it seems, but in a way it kind of is, but I've also got some bulky fabric, so that explains it somewhat. But this was actually my Black Friday order. I did pick a couple of other things up that I had a plan for that I wanted to get, but the top three are all for the same project, which are to go with the block print that I just showed you, or the block print paint that I just showed you. So I have these three cotton linen mix fabrics, and I'm planning to make the apron. It's a Pearl Soho free apron. I don't know what the name is for it, but I'll pop an image so that you can see what it looks like. It's an apron that you don't tie, it just kind of just wraps around you. I've been really intrigued by this design, and I've been wanting to make this for absolutely years. It's quite a minimalist looking apron, and in a way I didn't know if that was going to be the most appropriate because I like a lot of frills at Christmas time more than I do other times of year. But I have a frilly apron. I don't feel like I need another frilly apron. I'm not going to duplicate what I've done. But I thought it would be quite a nice thing to do, and quite a kind of tasteful thing to do would be to use some lovely linen fabrics and some block print. So I'm just going to be block printing on the cream color because it does need to be on a lighter color to work. And I have a load of block prints, actually Christmas themed Indian block prints that I bought from the Indian Block Print Company before, and I will show you guys what I've got when I'm working on that project, but that should be happening later this Vlogmas. And the idea is I'm going to use the red and the green as a bit of contrast. So I'm going to have one in like the little top part of the pocket panel, and then another color that's going to be like basically the straps that go around over the shoulder. So I feel like you're going to get an overall Christmas vibe without it being too in your face. And I know I'm going to have more of these fabrics left over because I did end up ordering probably more than I need, not quite knowing how much I was going to need of each color. And what that means is I can then have a little bit left over where I think I can make myself some Christmas aprons or Christmas tea towels by doing a little bit of maybe some white embroidery on the top. I wouldn't hand embroider because that's probably a bit much for that kind of project, but like little, even just the decorative stitches on the sewing machine with like a white top stitching thread or something I think would be really cool. So that's something that I'll be working on depending on how much I manage to get out for the apron. But that's one thing that I picked up that I'm excited about. The next is, this is actually a lining fabric. So this is a really lovely, it's like a dead stock viscose lining that's a plum color. And I got this because I had actually picked up some other fabric from Sew Me Sunshine earlier this year. It was, I want to say it was like maybe October. They were putting out a load of wools, and I wanted to go and actually touch the wools and see what they were like because I'm a little bit sensitive to scratchy wools. And I saw this fabric and absolutely loved it. It's another dead stock fabric. It's got like plums, it's got a little bit of gold, it's got little cream color, it's got a beigey color. It's really lovely, and it's pretty soft, I would say. It's not the softest, but it's pretty soft. It does have a bit of drape to it though, so it actually kind of hangs and moves quite nicely. And what I had wanted to do, I had visions of making a plaid skirt because I really like the look of it. I liked it paired with like what I was wearing on the day. Can't remember what it was, but I felt like it would be something that would really work in my current wardrobe. And so I wanted to use this, and I thought I would make a pleated skirt. I'll pop up an image of the kind of design that I wanted to go for, and I was going to self-draft it, and I thought it would be really cool. And then the more I was thinking about it and thinking about this fabric, the more I was thinking that it was probably not going to be something I'd want to reach for, because I went to Catholic school. I grew up in Chicago, went to Catholic school from when I was a very young child, from like preschool up until I was 18. And all that time I was wearing plaid pleated skirts. And I've come to the conclusion that I feel like this is just gonna be a put off and I wasn't gonna wanna wear it. So what I've decided to do instead is to do the peppermint wrap skirt, and I've actually seen it made up with plaid, and I think it looks really effective, and I think it would be really nice and warm because it's quite long. And so what I want to do is I'm going to use the lining and just, I think it's called flat lining, where basically I'm going to cut out the same pieces in both fabrics. I'm just going to lay the one on top of the other and then sew it together. I'll have to work out exactly how I want to do it as far as like trying to avoid having seams on the inside, because I think it's made with French seams, so I might even just be better off making the two skirts separately and then sewing them together, maybe even by hand along the sort of the seams of it. But I think it will be really nice, and I do think it would be really comfortable to wear. I feel like this is kind of a bit of a priority for me because at the moment, the way I've been feeling with pain, with the surgery I had back in September, I'm not finding any like tight pants or tights very comfortable to wear, and I really want to wear things that are open and floaty. Jumpsuits are actually pretty good because they tend to have quite a low rise. They kind of sit a bit lower because you have to be able to pull them over your shoulders. Really wide, loose, wide leg things are okay as well, but even like sweatpants are a bit more fitted, I don't find as comfortable at the moment, and I really am enjoying wearing big long skirts that I don't have to wear tights with. So I'm really leaning towards trying to get this sewn up, but as you can tell, I've got a bit of a list piling up. So we'll see when I get around to it. Whenever I do, I think it'll be really nice. The other two things that I picked up from Sew Me Sunshine, this cream color, I feel like this seems like I got more than I ordered, but this is a really gorgeous, it's like a viscose rib knit, and it's super soft. If it's not viscose, I'll put up on the screen because I'm not sure. I have bought this before. It's like a brushed. It feels like a lovely sweater knit. And as you can see, it does have that really nice drape to it. And I have made a dress, the Grafton dress by Cashmerette. I can, again, pop in a picture of what that dress looks like. I actually wore it, I think, yesterday. I love that dress so, so much. And I don't think I would want a white dress. I feel like that's a little bit too much for me, but I would love to have a white turtleneck made up in this because that's something, it's not white actually. This is like a cream, which is more my kind of color. That is something that I really don't have and I think would be really useful. And it's just so soft and warm and cozy. And I know because I've used this fabric before, it washes well, it wears well. It is really, really lovely fabric. I have a feeling I'm gonna have more left over, so I might have to think on what I wanna do with it otherwise, but I think that'll be really cozy when I get around to that. And then I also picked up some of this merino wool, which merino wool is definitely known for being incredibly warm. It's a good like thermal layer, and I bought the navy. I really wasn't sure what I'm going to do with it. So my thinking is I might make some like leggings to be an underlayer, and I might even make like a long, like a tighter t-shirt to be kind of like long underwear essentially, but depends how much I can get from it. I think it is a wider fabric, so I'm going to have to see how it goes. But it does have really lovely drape to it as well, but it's going to be really made up into more of like a tighter fitting outfit anyway, so it's not super important. But this is more of like an eventual project. It's not as much of a priority because I don't think it would be super comfortable to wear at the moment, but I think it will be really good when I do get there. And then the other things I got, like I said, as far as like my comfort levels, I really am wanting very like loose bottoms. And as far as my pajamas, I basically got two looser sweatpants that I'm finding comfortable, and I'm having a hard time keeping up with the laundry and like rotating around and being able to wear them. So I know it would be really good to be able to have something else to kind of put in the mix. And recently I saw Helen from Helen's Closet made the June pants in like sweatpants material. She made like joggers out of them. I really love a wide leg jogger, and I think I talked about this before because I did make some in a DBP double brush poly, but they're just a little bit lighter weight and they're not that warm for this time of year. And I thought it'd be so nice to have a big wide leg, like super cozy pajama bottom. And so I wanted to see what they had, and they had this most gorgeous, this is a sweatshirt fleece. So it's a fleece back sweatshirting, but this is like so soft, guys. So soft. It's one of those sweatshirting fabrics that you have to feel it to understand, but it's a thick, warm sweat fabric. And I think this is going to be so cozy to wear. I think this is going to make the best pair of sweatpants. I really love the color. It's not something that I have in my like pajama wardrobe, but it would go with a lot of the tops that I wear for relaxing at home. So I think it's going to be such a staple, and this one should be a pretty quick one to whip up, which would be great. I even got some matching Mariflex thread so that I can do the hem really nice and neatly, and again, it should come together pretty fast. So I'm really looking forward to that one. And then this was something I really felt a bit like left out, that I wasn't able to use, well, I didn't want to use the Fabric Godmother fabric that I got. And I thought, well, what if I pick up another lovely viscose that I can eventually use, even if it's not in December, to make that lovely blouse? And they did also say to keep some of the leftover fabric to use on another project in this box. And so I felt like, well, at least if I can get the fabric, if I decide I want to work on the other portion of it, then I've got the fabric there. And so I ended up buying this really gorgeous, it's 100% tencel. I feel like it has really great colors. I will say this, like, more, it's a purpley, it's like a pinky purple. That's not a color that I would usually wear, but because it's in the background and the main base is navy, which is great for me, and this kind of creamy gray colors are great for me, I think it works. I asked Harriet's opinion. I trusted her. She thinks it works. I do think it does. And I think the scale of the print will work so beautifully with that blouse. And now that I have these buttons, whoop, I think they work, guys. I think it's a winner. So this will eventually become my new Fabric Godmother blouse and whatever else they want me to use this fabric for. So it's good to be stocked up. I feel like it's not as crazy of an amount as I feel like it looked in the bag, but you know, it is what it is. And as far as everything else for tonight, then I'm getting that soup going. It's not going to be too much longer, and then I'm going to just chill out with my husband, have another nice relaxed evening. I've got a bit more of a busier day tomorrow, so I certainly don't want to push it too much tonight. But I will be checking in with you guys tomorrow, letting you know what I get up to, and I will see you then. Bye!